Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? I'm having leg pain today, so I'm sorry for the late start. We're going to be doing Death Mountain today. Um, I have a lot of stuff that happened that I'll be saving for tomorrow's video, but the rabbit hole goes much deeper. I've been able to uncover ownership of multiple companies, person losing control of a company and a CMS, and innocent people impacted. And I was a journalist, so I'm able to discover things. And what I'm finding is terrifying because a friend of mine could be involved. So I feel sick to my stomach. My complexion is horrible. I've thrown up several times. I'm a mess. But it's not good. What I do want to say is thank you, guys and gals, for um, we hit $1,000 on our Patreon. Amber also just got a job that starts July 7th, I think.
I still need to.
Okay.
I still need to go over everything with my family, make sure everything's okay, and I still need to do the background check. And my credit is very bad, so they offered me the job, but they still have to do everything else. So,
Okay.
and also, you have to understand that I have no experience in this field, so I'm gonna have to go through a brutal training program. And
Oh, they're gonna train you? They didn't even train me as a custodian. They just threw me in there,
oh
like
wait, so
to
they
clean
don't
schools.
train people? Oh my gosh. Oh no.
I hope they train.
They told me I have 45 minutes to clean each room,
Okay.
but
Because
I don't know if they're
when
training me or
when I
what.
was when I was a custodian
It's
at
a
like
hospital.
when I was custodian at college at 18, they didn't tell me nothing. They said, "Here's the spray. Use this. This is the rag. This is the mop. You have like 40 minutes to clean each room. This is where the vacuum is. If you break the vacuum, you have to talk to maintenance." They were just very.
What was that for school?
That was for that college in town where you and I met. They didn't give me any training.
Well, I mean,
But
mostly.
they didn't give me any benefits. I didn't get any health
No, I
insurance.
have.
I didn't get anything.
This one includes benefits and vision insurance, health insurance, dental, everything.
Hmm.
Paid time off, everything. But the only problem is I didn't get a chance. Like the hiring process was so fast, I didn't even get a chance to ask if I could have a certain day off because it's all the weekend. It's all weekend, so that's the problem is with my family's like event. I'm gonna have to talk to them now and see if I can just because if it takes me a day to get down there and a day to get back, then there's nothing. I can't be down there on Monday because if I'm working until Sunday night, that doesn't. I need to sleep before I drive,
Yeah, of course you do.
so there's no way I could get down there.
Yeah.
Um, so it would have to be Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I can't. If it's on Thursday, it could be Thursday, but I would have to leave by noon. Like I would have to leave by 1 o'clock, and I'd have to drive the entire day, and then I would have to, because I would have to be up at for 7 in the morning for work on Friday. So I mean, I guess the only days I can really do it are Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I have to drive.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But the other problem is because I have to take this job, it would be. Um, I really didn't. I was not going to talk about it on the video, but
You don't have to.
I will have to find an evening church to go to because there is no. They were gonna offer me an 11 o'clock position, but I got there too late and somebody else took it. There was like 50 people trying to get positions, and I was the very last one. I rushed there after my other interview. So I got the last position left, which was the most brutal, which is 7 a.m.
7 a.m. to 7. Yeah.
7 a.m. to 7:30, 3 days a
Wow.
week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the whole weekend.
Oh, it's for the weekend. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, That's the problem is, like, if I ever have people over for the weekend or something, I will not be able to see them until after 7:30. Also, they said I have to work every other holiday. So that means I don't even know if I can have if I have your family over for Thanksgiving, I would have to make the Thanksgiving dinner and put it in the fridge, and then like somehow we could reheat it at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know.
That is the only way it would even happen. You guys could hang out because I'd be gone all week. They could sleep here, and I'd be gone all week. I could be, of course, if Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, then I would actually have the day off. Actually, so I wouldn't have to work that holiday since it's a Thursday. Actually, probably have to work like Christmas though.
Um, and I just need to address this. So last night I said some stuff that I've never said before. I'm very stressed. Um, I know that I'm not a role model for kids or anybody or things like that, but I'm like, our accounts are bad. We have the IRS payment coming out soon and no way to pay them. We have a lot of stuff going on. We're 9 days, no payment. Amber's potential job doesn't even start until July.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for the Patreon, and I'm sorry for uh, using words I don't normally use on the air. I'm torn between a lot of things. I found out that this whole mess might be because someone Amber and I have known for a decade, that we've worked with and we enjoy working with, and this could be all his fault. And he's doing something illegal, like just by existing, and I know about it, and I'm legally required to get in touch with YouTube's operations people, because there might be a way that they can help get people, because if a rogue former employee of YouTube is running operations that they're not supposed to be, then I mean that's a loophole that YouTube can go in and go after that guy and get people their money back, because he's not supposed to be in positions of power anymore because they removed him. It's like the Keemstar incident, where Keemstar, if you guys don't know this, Keemstar got his YouTube channel taken away from him because he was selling multi-channel networks, which is against YouTube's terms of service.
I gotta call my.
Yeah, that's fine. So how Keemstar stays alive with Drama Alert is his friend owns the Drama Alert business, and Keemstar is just the host of the YouTube channel, so it's a loophole. Same thing is happening with this MCN thing. This guy used to own one of the biggest MCNs in the world, and apparently he has tons of smaller MCNs. And, he has a responsibility to pay people, and he's trying to pass it off on this Nagato company, which is a bad situation because he can take the hit. The partners can't take the hit. I can't take the hit. So, like I said, I've been sick. I've been, do I expose this person? Like, I've been praying about stuff. I don't know what to do. All I know is tomorrow I'm going to the police, and we're making a report against Nagato, and Interpol's going to get involved, but a civilian can't make a police report for Interpol. You have to get permission from your local precincts. So we have to go and talk to a detective tomorrow, and then that detective will then follow through with the international police, and Interpol will then get the Swedish police involved. What I can tell you is the person who I've been talking to since Thursday has not alerted the authorities in Sweden. And the people in Sweden did not come to work today. And they've never not shown up for work. So like I said, I've been throwing up. I look like absolute trash. Like, my complexion is terrible. I'm losing weight. I look horrible. But what people underestimate me is about I'm a good journalist. So I'm able to find out what I need to find out. And I've uncovered a huge rabbit hole that goes back a long time. So I'm going to be changing my video that was for tomorrow, and I'm going to have to do a series of videos on this topic because it's longer than one video. So And the fact that this person wants to put Amber and I in another thing that he owns, that means the same situation could happen in another 10 years. And I just want to say, I know that this isn't the person's fault, technically. It's their fault for still being in business in this capacity, but it's not his fault that these employees went rogue. I mean, he's got employees, just like YouTube, all over the world. It's kind of hard to check in on people who, when you're operating out of Japan, and they're halfway across the world in like some European country. It's not like you can just hop a jet and make sure people are doing their job. This is the problem with MCNs, and this is why YouTube was supposed to shut MCNs down in 2021. And YouTube is also at fault for this because they're breaching what the Federal Trade Commission ordered them to do, which was dismantle multi-channel networks in 2021. So it's also YouTube's fault that these content creators haven't been paid, and people are losing their livelihood, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their houses. We might lose our house, we might lose our cats. It's all their fault. It's not our fault. So it's a bad situation that it literally is making me sick. So I don't know what to do. I'm going after Nagato first, but I don't want to be the I don't want to be the guy that goes after another party, because it could be that situation. Which means I now have leverage to make YouTube do whatever I want, like getting my channel removed from this network and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's gonna be a bloodbath. Could be. But I'm sorry about the vulgarity last night, especially if there were kids watching and if parents are really ticked at me and unsubscribe. I totally understand. I didn't swear a lot, but I did swear. I got a very bad email last night during the Batman stream. Yeah. This house? We moved here before Mario Odyssey came out. So we covered Breath of the Wild in the previous Pennsylvania place. The Switch 1 came out. Ugh. I'm still talking, Ember. The Switch 1 came out spring of 2017. We covered 4 or 5 Switch games, and then we were here when Mario Odyssey released. So I think we were living here by June of 2017. So we've been here 7 years in this apartment. Why do you need to know that?
They're asking if they have an extensive background.
Okay.
They want to know everything about you.
You lived in Boston for 10 years. Boston area. You've lived in Pennsylvania for exactly 10 years. 2015, 2025. Link is just saying hello to you because he likes you. You're welcome, honey. Yeah, but if my voice sounds really bad to you guys, I've been throwing up a lot. So my voice is kind of shot. I'm not in good shape. I barely slept. And I'm the only one who's reporting on this, which makes this even worse. And I would have had a much easier time if those podcasts would actually let me go on today, but that didn't happen, obviously. Amiibos don't want to work now. No, honey. I mean, if the job is 3 days a week, you're probably going to have to get another job. Because our YouTube channel won't start making income again until... I mean, if I can somehow... That's why I'm saying if I can use leverage against this person, YouTube will immediately break all the contracts that this thing has. I can start earning money again as soon as, like, tomorrow or something. Because this person has already told us, you know, that they don't have the money when, according to Travis, he knows they have the money. Well, Nagato's not real. Nagato is a shadow corporation. Nagato, the Portugal network. I don't even know how many, because he uses assumed identities all over the world. So, honey, he said in 60 days he'll try to get us into a new network. That's August. 60 days. Yeah. YouTube said they can pull us out in 30. Unless because we've been because we've been you can try talking to them if you want. They might tell you the same thing. They might tell you 30 days though. Uh-oh. I'm getting DDoS pretty bad. 1 second, guys. Yeah, the only support I have is my fans, my wife, and my family, so, you know, don't really have a... I can't say the name online, honey. That I can't tell you.
Well, I guess I'll just put their office.
Type the name of the company, Amber, and it'll show you the other apartments they have. Yeah, that's fine. I don't remember the apartment name. I'm sorry, honey. It was too long ago. Because they're making sure you're not some type of crazy person because you're going to be in a hospital. Hospitals have extensive background checks. They need to make sure that the people who are working there are, you know... Well, yeah. They have to make sure you are who they say you are. The brown pants actually work with this outfit a little bit. That's terrifying. We didn't even have a landline on there. Ooh, the Twilight trousers. There we go. That looks kind of nice. So I guess we're Fair Steedy Link now. That's dope. Your inventory's full, you can't use that. Okay. Wasn't there supposed to be a memory on this bridge? Yeah, but that's why I'm late for work, guys. I was on the phone. And then tomorrow I have a big day. I have to go to the police, file a report, mention that it's an international crime, so then they'll have to get Interpol involved. But then the reason people are probably like, well, why do you have to make a police report about this? I'll tell you why. Because last night we told you guys that we're in debt to the IRS, and the IRS according to the court case that we had 10 years ago, we cannot miss payments. If we miss payments, I can be arrested and thrown in jail for tax fraud. So we have a 690 payment that's going to trigger at the end of the month. There's no money in that bank account, and there's no way to send money in that bank account until July 5th. So if I go to the police and I make a Not now! Stop it! Sorry. If I make a police report, then what happens is if I go to court, they'll have on record that money was stolen from us and that like it wasn't my fault that I couldn't make payments. So the reason why I have to make a report is to keep me, one, out of jail because I didn't do anything wrong, and two, it's to make a record of what's going on. So like YouTube won't be able to sweep this under the rug like they're trying to, because they're trying to say we're not associated with any of this. This is all Nagato's doing. We're not going to take care of the partners. We're not going to do anything. So if I go to the police and I make a report and I have my court case, like after getting arrested by the IRS, then I can do a plea and say that it wasn't my fault I couldn't pay because I was involved with somebody stealing my paycheck. A company stole my money and there was no way I could have paid you. And if you look at the record, every month we paid you for 11 years because of the payments that we received from YouTube. We didn't get any YouTube payments for 2 months. So I have no choice but to make a police report. It's for my own, it's the only way that I'll get out of jail. If I get arrested. So it's yeah, you can see why I've been throwing up and why I'm in bad shape is because this is, the longer we don't get paid, the worse our situation gets. And I'm sorry, but the $1,000 on Patreon isn't enough. It's still too, it's not nearly what we need. And I am taking 690 of that Patreon to pay the IRS. But that doesn't cover rent, that doesn't cover everything, so. But again, my agreement with the IRS is the 30th of the month. So they won't wait 5 days for a payment. They'll probably show up at the house and arrest me. The IRS is the biggest criminal organization in the world. They're basically the mafia. You cannot negotiate with them more than once. You have to get an extensive court case to even do an offer in compromise, and we've already done that. We had a court case with them 10 years ago. There is no mercy, there is no nothing. They are criminals, they are scum, they are evil. We lived in the other place June 2015, because I was still covering Arkham Knight, until probably May or June of 2017. I believe we couldn't get the moving company to come get us and move from that Pennsylvania town to this one until the summer of 2017. I don't know the specifics, I just know we were covering Mario Odyssey in the late summer of 2017 from this house. That's the best I can do. No, it's not IRS. We went to court. No, IRS doesn't call you. IRS writes you letters. We have letters from the IRS threatening to arrest me all the time if we don't make payments, and we do make payments. And every time we've gone to their offices, they've screamed at me. They've treated me like a criminal. They're just waiting to throw me in jail to get back their $90,000. They're not good people. Screw anybody who thinks the IRS is good people. They're not. I wish horrible things on you, like a horrible death, for people that believe the IRS are good people. They're not. They've put me through so much this past 11 years. You have no idea. I'm not gonna swear here, but I'm just saying, like, they're evil. And it's their mistake, it's not mine. They made the mistake of claiming that we stole $50,000 when $50,000 was stolen from us. in 2014 from YouTube. They held us liable, even though we never received those payments. So they said that we were stealing money. And instead of throwing me in jail for their mistake, they put me on a payment thing of originally $1,900 a month, which we couldn't afford, so then we had to go to court through a lawyer and do an offer in compromise for $690, which we've been paying without fail for 11 years, or 10 years, or whatever. I did nothing wrong. I'm a victim of the IRS. And if they make a mistake, they don't fix it. They don't help you. The statute of limitations on this case has already passed for 10 years. They're still treating me like it happened yesterday. I paid off $45,000. But they have interest and they have other things. Probably. Because I should have been done paying it by now. $690, 12 times a month for 10 years is a lot of money. Money that I could have had in my savings. I could have had a house by now. I could have probably gotten better care for my neuropathy. There's a lot of things that could have happened. I would be able to take the hit from this company stealing money from us now for 2 months. I have nothing left because of the IRS. I hope Trump dismantles them. They're evil. The IRS needs to go. They're mafia. We lived in that part of Pennsylvania. Like from the time that 2015. It says our residence was still in Massachusetts because, you know, that one reason I don't want to talk about it. But we were living in Pennsylvania as early as June because I was still covering Arkham Knight, and Arkham Knight had content. I was saying Arkham Knight still had content that was going in the summer of 2015. And we started live streaming on YouTube in 2015 from our first Pennsylvania apartment. That's when I started live streaming. Like whenever Star Wars Battlefront came out, which I think was 2015 or something like that, I was in that house, and we did all Breath of the Wild in that house. But Mario Odyssey was here. Pretty sure. I'm sorry everything's by video game dates, honey, but that's how my mind works.
Thank you for that, because
My mind was so screwed up from the car accident that the only thing I can remember is video games. And I piece my life together through dates from video games. That's how I remember things. There's other parts of my life is like so blurry, I can't remember certain things. Yep. So, based on the statute of limitations, like, they should forgive our case by now, because this happened under Obama. Like, I've written to Biden and I've written to Trump to ask them to drop our case, to, you know, forgive the debt, because I told them last year, because a YouTuber can tell how their business is doing. Like, we have data that charts how much money you make, and there's been a slow decline every year since 2020. Ever since we got shadow banned, we lose more and more money every year. So based on my estimates, even for this year, I told them that I cannot pay the back taxes anymore, plus pay the new taxes. It's not possible. I don't make enough anymore. They don't care. They're like Stewie Griffin. Where's my money? You know that scene with Stewie Griffin? He's beating up Brian. He's demanding money. That's the IRS. They don't care. I have to somehow come up with the $690 and pay them every month without fail, or I go to jail. That's the deal. That's it. There's nothing else. So that's why I'm stressed. Excuse me if I'm stressed. And once I'm gone, how's Amber gonna afford, you know... Actually, she has a job. Might have a job. So she'll be able to afford rent at least. No, I think I go to jail, then you don't have to worry about paying the IRS.
Well, I would have to worry about visiting you in jail. It costs a lot of money to talk to people in jail.
I won't survive jail. I have...
No, it costs, like, per letter that you text them, you have to pay for paper, mail, to jail. You have to, like, go through all this. I would have to take days off of work to go visit you.
With my neuropathy, I can't really defend myself in prison, and also my medicine is under that list. That's very hard to get that type of medicine in prison. I'll have a stroke from lack of having my medicine. Like, I'll die in prison because I'll have a stroke. And also, that medicine is something that people can use for bad things, so they'll probably steal my medicine in jail. I'm gonna die in jail.
Maybe they bring you out of your cell and
No, they don't do that. No, I would die in jail because, like, I'll have a stroke because I won't be able to have access to my medicine because somebody's gonna steal it and use it as a narcotic. Why do you think I've been throwing up, Amber? I'm in bad shape. I'm in very bad shape. Work where? Oh, yeah. You probably won't get to see your mom's burial now, honey. I don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm very much contemplating turning this person in because at least I can get my channel back and I can make money as soon as possible. And, you know, I might be able to withdraw. I have an emergency fund somewhere from t-shirt sales. It's $500. I'm going to try to give that to the IRS. It won't be $690, but it'll be something. But I'm hoping that the bank will try to remove the money and still pay the IRS, and then I'll go negative $690, and I can, you know, because I only have that much money in that bank account in Boston. I only use that to pay the IRS. That's all it's used for. So I'm hoping maybe the bank will cover the first time fee. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to talk to the bank. Tell them what's going on. Because I haven't talked to the Boston bank yet. I need to talk to them. There's so much I have to do. Like, this is ruining my life. Sorry you got pulled over by the police, Jacob. And that you got mistaken for being someone you're not. I'm lucky enough that I don't look like other people. I look like a celebrity, that's about it. Some celebrity from the 80s. And it's the only person I look like, so nobody mistakes me for anybody. But I get pulled over a lot because I look angry. They say I look suspicious. It's the first time you saw the police armed? Yeah, that's a scary feeling. I've had guns drawn on me from cops before, too. You did great, though. You stayed calm, and you did what they told you, and you're here now, and you did... I'm very proud of you, Jacob. You did a good job. Very proud of you, dude. I'm gonna be right back, guys. I'm having a... I don't want to have an attack on the air. I need to go for a few minutes. I'm having problems. Okay, I'm back. My folks are gonna help for a couple months with the IRS thing, so at least I don't have to worry about it until like August, or yeah, August. So that's good. And hopefully our YouTube channel will be able to start earning money again in the middle of July, so I can start, taking over stuff. But at least I'm not worried about what our situation is right now. It's still a terrible situation. I had to talk to my parents are in their late 60s, something like that. My dad, uh, I asked him to sit down because I worry about his heart. So and thankfully they know the people, and because I mean when I first lived in Massachusetts, my dad and I went to the same bank. We chose the same bank, and he knows the bank guy, so he's gonna let him know my situation, and he thinks he'll be able to take over payments for a while because it's a small town in Massachusetts, like outside of Boston, so um, you know he knows him really well, and I think my dad still has accounts there too, because he used to live in that area for a long time. But my parents, they prayed with me a bunch, and they told they told me that they love us and that they're gonna help us for how long that they can, because my parents are retired. They don't have you know uh, yeah, they don't have an income anymore. So they're gonna try to help for a while. Thank you guys for helping us reach our first Patreon goal. Um, and I guess I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. Like my parents told me to definitely go to the police, and I'm gonna go to the police tomorrow. So that hasn't changed. But yeah, I've had my anxiety disorder under control for about 7 years now, and I'm falling apart a little bit. But again, I'm under an intense amount of stress, so of course I'd have problems. Stop. Link. Link, don't do this. Link, stop. Link, stop. Linky, stop. Link, you're gonna knock the whole equipment down. Come here. Come here, Link. What was I doing again? I'm going to Death Mountain. That's where. Wait, no, I was going somewhere else. Yeah, so things might be tense for a little while, guys. I'm just gonna do the best I can. But, my situation would have improved a lot faster if I could have had thousands of people find out what's going on. More YouTubers talking about this and things. So I'm also mad at those podcast people because, So I guess everything goes the way that it's supposed to. Wednesday, I'll be releasing my video. I've already talked to a couple YouTubers that said they'll retweet it and stuff like that. That's the least they can do. So I have at least like 6 or 7 YouTube friends with varying subscriber amounts that said they'll retweet my video. So that's something. That means we'll probably get 10,000 views on the video, maybe. I don't know. It's just a bad thing right now. But I feel better talking to my parents, but I also feel worse because now they're retired, and I've taken their monthly retirement just so I don't go to jail. I feel horrible about that. I don't feel better. I feel I'm putting them in,
Well, I'm right on the job application site right now.
I know, honey. And if I wasn't disabled, I would be out there getting a job too. I'd stop the YouTube thing immediately and just go get a job, but I can't work. Like, I get fired,
I'm
like,
gonna call these people.
nobody really hires anybody with a panic disorder because they don't know when the person is going to have problems, so they can't rely on you. It's hard to hear that, you know? Because some days you can really do the job well, and other days you can't do anything.
I'm sorry. I know.
It's okay.
Alright, well. I mean, this might pay the same amount as the other job I was doing at night. It's receptionist. At least it would give me.
I know that's just one of your little quirks, but you gotta be careful. Link, I don't know why you're so feisty, but please stop.
Well, this is where I applied.
Yeah?
For a day. I had a day job available. It's like 25 minutes from our house.
Just don't say anymore.
Well, I probably won't get the job anyway, so.
We live near a highway, so, like, depending on how you drive.
Could be anywhere.
Right. Which is part of the reason why we recorded Let's Plays late at night here, is because, like, the noise from the road is not very fun.
Yeah, I have
You
to figure out how to do
if I was still doing lore videos and stuff, sometimes I would end up, like, screaming outside because, like, it's so... You can hear the rush of traffic and all this other stuff. You hear police sirens all the time. It's not good for trying to do a recording at all. Down here...
really need a note.
Yeah,
I'm the one who lost them all, I know.
I know. I would check the couch upstairs, because you were in that room. Check the outlets up there, check the kitchen, check the car.
Well, if I don't complete my background check, I guess I won't get it.
You haven't done anything wrong. It's not your fault you had surgeries.
Doesn't matter. Who cares? I'm sorry.
Didn't do anything wrong.
That was very brave of you to call them, Luke. I don't think I could have done that. I should do it. I'm sorry that I'm such a bad person.
I'm not a bad person.
Yes, I am.
You're not. You're not. Remember to be careful with that cord though, okay? Because that's a switch 2. Or that's a switch 1. Oh, I see. Yeah, I know, Amber. So I'm gonna try to get to Death Mountain, guys and gals, and then I'll get ready for the Batman stream. And I think that there was, I don't, because Amber's on the phone with job stuff, I don't think that we can do a ultimate stream tonight, because Amber's been looking all over the place for a job and things like that, and she's tired. Because normally I can handle doing ultimate streams right now, you know, and like make sure people get what they pay for, but like a lot of people signed up for our ultimate tier on Patreon, and there's more people than there are days. I think there's a lot of, which is a good thing, but I can't honor that right now. I feel bad about it, but it's a lot. Alright, so we got another shrine taken care of. I'm in the grasslands. I'm not near Death Mountain where I need to be. So I need to be probably over here. But I do want to say thank you guys for not doing the super chats right now and understanding our situation. I don't want to give this company any more money that they can take from us. You know, when we're no longer under their thumb, I'll let everybody know. But right now, unfortunately, we're stuck there. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. The cats are doing something in the kitchen. Link, come here. Come here. What are you doing? Twilight Sword came in handy. Alright, well, at least I made it to Death Mountain like I said I was going to. Oh, he's not dead. What?
It is my pleasure.
Now he's dead. I think that's because Amber and I have created such a very friendly environment for people to come here that they feel closer to us than most YouTubers because we don't act like YouTubers. Like, a lot of YouTubers behave and act a certain way. Like, they're not really real with people. They're not... Everything is always for the camera. And Amber and I have always just been a couple that sits on the couch and plays games and talks about life and talks about our hobbies and things that we like. And YouTubers, if you watch other YouTube videos and streamers, they have a certain way of, like, being almost like a television show. And Amber and I are more like a radio show and radio host because I have a background in radio. So how we interact is kind of like how, you know, a very like chill radio DJs will behave, you know, on a morning show or something like that when they're drinking their coffee. It's you relate to it more. It feels more interpersonal. It's not like this big production. It's two people sitting by a microphone, drinking their drink, and just kind of like, I don't know, hanging out, kinda. I'm not gonna kill any ostriches. That's not right. Well, I accidentally stumbled upon a memory, so I guess we'll do that. May as well, right? But one of the things that we always wanted to do is we wanted to keep it, I guess the term is maybe more casual. Like, when we were starting YouTube, everybody had a persona, everyone had a character. Like, I know James in real life. Like, I know the Angry Video Game Nerd. I know James. I met his wife. I know Mike Matei. And James's, like, channel now is more like how I know the James in real life. You know, when he's hanging out with Mike and they're on the couch and they're talking about movies and he's very relaxed. But when he was first on the internet, it was the nerd. Like, the nerd was the persona, and, you know, James was the person, and we got to meet James on camera much later on in his career, but when he first started, he was the nerd. Even at conventions, he would act like the nerd. And then over time, like over 10 years and stuff, James started to act more like, you know, James. But I always treated YouTube as like a radio show, because I was a radio DJ. You know, the name Kwing or Nightwing or whatever was just a call sign. It was just like my cool name. It wasn't, I didn't become a superhero. I didn't become some type of, like, you know, I just kept it real. So what happened is my community evolved around that way of doing things, and it became you know, a very like family oriented or like very like open and uh, safe environment for people to just like, especially for families to come and hang out and talk. And you know, the thing that binds us is we're all video game fans, we're all gamers, right? So that's what the draw was for the channel, is we're all gamers. So that's different than a lot of YouTube channels. YouTube channels, like even today, I go to a bunch of YouTube channels. You know, people are like, "Yo, what's up, fam?" And you know, like, "How's everybody doing?" And things like they're doing all this like very extravagant stuff. And maybe that's part of the reason why we never grew as much as we probably should have. But that's not what we ever set out to do. That wasn't the goal. The goal was a husband and wife to sit together, play video games, and have a good time. That's all it ever was. I lost the memory. Oops. I end up talking in circles and then I lose my train of thought. Stupid ADD. It was up here, wasn't it? Where'd it go? Am I in the wrong place? Could have sworn it was up here. Shoot. Hello, Zelda. Have you calmed down now? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now.
That cut doesn't look too bad, actually. You're fine for now. But you know, there's a fine line between courage and recklessness. As brave as you are, that does not make you immortal. It seems that not only is the frequency of these types of attacks on the rise, but the scale of beasts we are facing is intensifying as well. I fear that this is an omen which portends the return of Calamity Ganon. And, if that's the case, I'm ready to expect the worst. We'll need to make preparations as soon as possible.
Sorry guys, I'm on cat duty, so when Zelda's tummy grumbles now, it tells me that she's gonna have an accident, so as soon as I hear her gurgling, I put her in the basement so she can be closer to her box, so if she has an accident, it doesn't happen upstairs. This is one of the ways that I'm dealing with trying to help Zelda as Zelda's getting older. Also, I don't want to clean up a mess upstairs. Yeah, I know James was the Nintendo nerd first. I met James. James and I worked for the same company in 2010, I think it was. And then I met James. Oh shoot, I'm gonna burn up. I can't go there. Haha. What year did I meet James? I met James probably right around the time of Arkham City, I think. Or maybe right after Arkham Knight. I think it was, or not Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum. So it was probably like late 2009, early 2010. And then when I moved to Pennsylvania, I met James and his wife because they were at the network that that we were both at. So I've worked with James off and on my YouTube career behind the scenes a couple times. And I was good friends with James's guitarist, Chris Holland, his second guitarist. Like the guy who wrote the Angry Video Game song, I've never met him. There was a gentleman who did the composing, like the actual episodes. Like he was the composer for a lot of, because James had a couple composers, which people don't know, but he did. Because, you know, he wanted his show to be authentic, so he had like his own style. So he hired my friend Chris from 2007 until 2009. And then Chris and I met through James and Mike. And Chris and I became good friends, Chris Holland. And then Chris Holland and I created a cover band because Chris was like, oh, you're a drummer. And it's like, yeah, I'm a drummer, and I really like your guitar licks, man. You've got some sick leads and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I play bass too. I'm kind of like my own man band. It's like, well, what do you do about drummer? He says, I use a keyboard. It's like, oh, dude, no. I said, you know, if you ever need me to lay down some stuff for you, I'd be happy to, you know, add some drum accompaniment or something for you. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. He says, you any good? I said, I've been playing for a while. I was a studio musician. And, you know, that's kind of how our friendship blossomed. Like, and then we started the cover band, and you guys heard our music at the beginning of the streams, the countdown music or the startup music, that's our band. That's me and Chris. I play the drums, or did, and Chris is the guitar player. He plays bass, guitar, lead. We would, like, come up with the musical arrangements of the covers. And our style was Chris doing... I wanted Chris to make leads that melted your face off. And I told Chris, you know, the star of our band is the guitar. So we don't have a singer really, so the guitar, the lead is the lead, you know? And so that's why there's insane guitar licks and stuff like that in our covers, is because basically Chris was the front man with his guitar. His wailing guitar was what made the cover so awesome. That's what made us stand out. But, you know, we never got the musical break because the company we signed on to was a YouTube company, and they never paid us. I ended up paying Chris for his work out of my own pocket because I felt my friend needed to be paid for his work, and I actually paid him first before I told him the bad news that the albums never sold. And he felt bad that I paid him, but I said, we did great work together. This is what we would have made on the album. This is how many albums sold, so I'm going to pay you what I think you deserve. So that's how that happened. And we stuck around as a band for a while, and then my neuropathy set in, and I couldn't play the drums anymore. So that was pretty hard for me. But, you know, I had a lot of fun, and, you know, behind the scenes, like, James Ralph is a really nice guy. Like, he's one of the few YouTubers that's a real person. Like, he's a really nice guy. He may act a certain way on camera, but he's a really nice dude. Like, he really is. I like him a lot. He and I might not agree on everything, but we've never talked politics. We've never talked about religion. We just talk about video games. We have we have some differences of opinion on games like Ninja Turtles. I think he sucks at it, but that's a very touchy subject with him, because I've beaten the original Ninja Turtles without any problems. And I always, when I talked to him the few times that I met him, I did bring up the Ninja Turtles thing, which probably wasn't a smart idea. He and Mike are very sensitive about that. But I was just teasing them. I wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything. It's just a little bit of teasing. You know, it's what gamers do, right? Sometimes gamers are a little... can be a little rude or a little, like, teasy, so... but, you know, I enjoyed the company that I worked for in Pennsylvania. The problem is when Amber and I went to that company, because we didn't stay there long, they did a lot of really nice things for us. The company was called Screenwave. They're located in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia. They're near where James lives, so that's why James was there a lot. And they had a lot of great opportunities for us that we just couldn't do back then. I would probably do now if I could. Like, they allow you to use their equipment. You can live stream from their building. They have a set that you can hang out at. They have a replica of James's set. Like, they made like a 2D background of James's nerd cave or whatever, so you could actually, stream with that as your background if you wanted to. The staff there was very nice. The problem is, when we went there, there was something called network hopping back in the day, that if you were an overseas company, you made more money. So the reason why we would be in an overseas network is because we earned more money and we were over in the overseas market. If you're in an American network, American YouTube company, then you're in America's servers and the CPM is always lower. So even though they were very nice people, and it was there was a opportunity to meet a lot of YouTube creators like Pat the Nest Punk and RG, what was his name? RG85, I think was it? RGT85, I think was his name. He was a nice dude. And, some of these other guys. I did notice that most of the Pennsylvania content creators are all men. There was hardly any women. That's what Amber noticed, is they're all guys. They're very nice guys. But, we were the only married couple that was with them. But we couldn't afford to be with them for longer than a year because it was basically like getting perks but having an insane pay cut. And, we were shopping around from networks after we had that stuff happen to us in 2014. So we were with a couple different places. And we'll just say business negotiations fell through and we had to leave. Because it was putting a strangle on our finances. And as you guys know, I'm frantic about the IRS and things like that. So I may have yelled at them over the phone to end our contract, and I held them to certain things because the old saying goes is business, friendship is friendship. So when business doesn't go the way that it's supposed to, sometimes you have to get a little nasty. And me being a New Yorker, you can probably guess how interacting with Pennsylvania people went. Again, I'm not a nice guy behind the scenes. If something has to be done, you don't want to interact with me. My priorities is making money, making sure my wife's taken care of, and making sure that Grim Reaper over my head, which is the IRS, is taken care of. And I will do anything necessary to make sure that my assets are secured. Whether I burn bridges down or whatever I have to do whatever I have to. And a New Yorker interacting with Pennsylvania people who are very nice and chilled, I don't think they were expecting it. There are only a couple things I'm protective of. I'm protective of my income, my wife, my pets, my parents, and anyone that tries to prevent me from making money, you become my enemy. I keep tabs on you. I find out everything there is about you to destroy you. If you try to destroy me, I try to destroy you. So the people who have tried to, take care of me behind the scenes, like the people who tried to swat me, for years I've been trying to discover their real identities, and I have a rough idea of who they are. And I've been following their circles for a long time. I don't mess around. Remember, I was going to be a police officer. I grew up in a police environment. So I don't mess around with things. People think I'm just this guy on the internet that can't do anything. I'm just a guy behind the scenes, but I've done a lot of stuff. I really wanted to be a cop when I grew up. I wasn't able to pass those requirements. Probably because of what happened to my arms when I was a kid. I can't be physically fit the way that an officer should be, even though there's officers running around with like 300 pounds and things like that. For the state of New York, they have certain requirements, especially if you're near New York City, or they used to. So I wasn't able to be a police officer. So I take things very seriously. And when I got into the business world, well, then I definitely got more invested into the business side. Remember, I wanted to actually be a network owner. Yes, sweetheart. We're going to get paid something in July, so think of it like... I don't... It's probably, yeah, it'll be the 30th from now on. I don't think there will be any There are very few companies that offer the payment early. There was only a handful left. So we'll go back to... We're going to go back to what happened like 6 years ago, where payment is going to happen on the 30th from now on. I'm not taking that... Yeah, I know, honey. I know the situation with the burial. I know, that's what I was trying to tell you. I would just say YouTube's not paying us. A network is going to be too confusing for them. Just tell them Google's not paying us. That's what I told my parents. I can't explain to them the real situation because it's too confusing. It'd be July 30th, yeah. You would earn, like, if we get out of the network this month, then, that's if we get out of the network. If I don't get out of the network this month, then we'll have no paycheck in July at all. Because July's earnings would be August. Like, I would have to, and there's not even that many days left of June, so it wouldn't be that much money anyway for you to, well, you might be able to get down for the burial. But I don't have that information right now. Because it's, is it June 24th right now, or June? It's June 23rd. So if we were released right now, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of income. If we were released right now, I'm saying that we would have 7 days of income on July 30th that they would pay us. Whoever would pay us. No, that's nothing. We'd only get paid for 7 days of work in June, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a better situation than what happened in 2014, because we were almost 4 months. This time it's only... It's still bad, though. I know that. No. Maybe. Did rent get taken out or no? Okay. Okay, I will check the website after the stream. Power of fire. Yeah, but as I was saying before, like, as long as I don't deem you an enemy and you don't cross me, then you have nothing to worry about me. I'm like a teddy bear. But if you've actually done something and I have evidence that you did something against me, I go after you. I investigate you, I find out everything about you. Where you live, where you work, all that stuff. Because if you have info on me, it's not fair that I don't know anything about you. So my enemies, I've researched. A lot of them were stupid enough to have their real names on their Instagram tied to their Twitter accounts. But woke people aren't smart. So, it was very easy to track down a lot of them through their Facebooks, through their Instagram, everything. They may have hundreds of followers on Twitter, but I know exactly where they are. And if they're connected, I'm going to nail them. They're all in my police report, too. I don't trust nobody. Let's say I make it my business to know about my enemies. But my friends I don't really know anything about. As long as people don't cross me, they have nothing to worry about. But again, that has to do with my whole life. I wanted to be a police officer. I have family members who are detectives. I got family members who are patrolmen, state police, detectives, lieutenants. I'm the black sheep of my family, you know? I went into a very new type of career. And even if I was a musician, I would have been the black sheep in my family too. I really loved music. But oh well. Go where, Sweet Pea? Right now? They're not gonna do it before, honey. They never accommodate us. We always have to accommodate them. I told what they need to know is that our paycheck was stolen by YouTube. We're not going to be paid until August.
Right. We're not going to be paid until August, which means
We lost 2 months of income. We're in very bad situation. Our priorities is paying our rent. My parents got the IRS taken care of for like till August.
I mean, I could tell them it's possible I could go in July, but I would have, or I possible I could go in early August if that's my brother's full time off. But I mean,
It really they should move they should move it to the fall. It shouldn't.
it'd be easier for me to go in September.
The summer's not going to work. We don't have
I don't have any money.
we don't have the resources. So they, for once in their lives, they need to accommodate what you need, not what they need.
They don't love me.
I know, but you need to, well, then I guess they'll have to do it without you. But you have to tell them. You want me to call them? Because I'll tell them straight.
I'll just call them.
Because, I mean, if you don't talk to them, I'm going to tell them. And I'm going to tell them my way.
What do you want me to say about it?
Just keep it short and sweet. I mean, if you want to say it's an error, but it's up to you. I don't know if people... I mean, the only way that I would just tell them, YouTube stole your money for 2 months. You don't have any income coming in. You're starting a new job in July. And that money won't come in until the end of July. So your priorities is I have to pay my rent. And I have to pay my medical insurance. And get my cat's rabies shots. So I can't come down. That's what I would tell them. I keep it very short and sweet. Because we have the... Yeah. Yep. The best way to handle phone calls, honey, is you keep it short and sweet if it's like important. If it's like important information you gotta express, you just gotta keep to that. And then if they ask for more information, you talk a little bit about it, and then you say you gotta go. Because you gotta go to work. Yep. You gotta do it the way I handle business. If you have a problem doing it, I can call them after the stream. I'll do it my way. I'll be polite. Yeah, because I got no problem talking to them. I can do it. I can take care of it real easily. I wouldn't say I'm the Ryan Reynolds of YouTube. Like, I am... How you hear me right now, this is how I am in real life. If you cross me, yeah, then my temper's gonna flare, but... I mean, this is how I am behind the scenes. This is how I talk to my wife, how I talk to you guys. This is how I talk. There's no yeah boy persona or anything like that. It's just me.
Mifa's grace is ready.
But yeah, I'm probably a little cutthroat when it comes to business because, you know, I know how to talk to people because I've been doing this for 18 years. I know how much my channel's worth. I know how much I work. I know how much I deserve to be paid. I know all that stuff. So with that stuff, yeah, I'm a little strict, but if you actually came after my life, of course I'm coming after you. That's a given. There's no, oh, it's just the internet. I take that stuff very seriously. I've had several people arrested over the course of our YouTube career for threats. I don't screw around with that. It's not just the internet. I don't take it like that. You say you're gonna yeet me and I see it, and I get proof of your tweet. I find out the state you're in, I call the police that where you're living. You have the cops show up in front of your house, you get arrested, I press charges. Yeah, just keep it brief, Amber, because he likes to talk in circles. If you want me to talk to your brother, I'll talk to him. Be a 5-minute phone call. If you're worried about it, I can take care of it. Yeah, pretty much. I'm a chill guy, but if you do anything to screw me, you're screwed. I live my life like a martial artist because I was a martial artist. You attack me, I attack back. It's that simple. Goodbye. That is so satisfying. So yeah, I've got about a list of 150 suspects from different smear campaigns and other things over the years. And a good number of them are in police reports. Because I'm trying to find the people who swatted me. Not to brag or anything, but I make a pretty good detective if I actually got that police job years ago. I am very thorough. But because of my disabilities, I can't be a cop. So next best thing was entertainment. I guess. Corny jokes. Nostalgia. That kind of stuff. But the funny thing is, I never thought I would have to use those skills that my family taught me over the course of my life. Because, you know, my relatives would teach me things. My grandfather was chief of police. He would tell me all kinds of things. So I know how police procedure worked in the 60s through the 80s. I know how police procedure worked in the 90s, certain cases, speeding tickets, what to do when you're pulled over, how not to agitate the police, how to cooperate, how to file missing persons, how to file a police report, all kinds of stuff. I know more stuff than most civilians should know. And that's thanks to my background. Whoops. But you'd be surprised how stupid people are on the internet. How they leave a digital footprint to find them in real life. I've got dummy accounts. I've got fake names and addresses where my business isn't located in Texas. Some people think it is. Some people have tried to harm me and I have a fake address. It goes to some dirt road in Texas. It's not real. That's where I used... I don't use that address anymore. I'm not going to tell you my real one. I have another dummy address for my business right now. But I used to use a abandoned road in Austin, Texas for my business. When I first started my LLC a long time ago. Because it's the internet. You gotta be careful on the internet. There are people that want to hurt you on the internet. Linky, get up! Thank you. Where am I? We're still on Death Mountain. Okay. What year did I study martial arts? When I was a teenager. Upstate New York, I took karate, taekwondo, and jiu-jitsu. I said I wanted to be a cop. Cops have to learn how to fight. My dad's also a martial artist. My dad's a black belt. My dad's a black belt in karate. And he's a... I forget what belt he is in jiu-jitsu. My dad has at least like 3 years of jiu-jitsu. And he took karate for 10 years. I mean, we can shoot for a goal of 1,500. That's rent. It's up to you guys. I don't have... The thing with Patreon, Patreon's not like... what's the word I'm looking for? Patreon is not like GoFundMe where people can give, like, whatever they want. It's not like a super chat. Like, people are doing, like, a monthly donation of $1, $5, or up to $200. We can't go any higher than that. Also, I don't know how to use Patreon. Patreon was set up by a business associate. As he put it back in the day, I'm just the talent. I'm just the guy on the microphone. We had somebody who used to run the core aspects of the business. Like, they set up the Patreon, they set up our website at one point. They did a bunch of stuff. That guy went and he left the company and got his master's degree, and he's working for AT&T over in Taiwan or something. Like, he was a young, upcoming hot shot in the PR world. He was a brilliant man, nice guy. His wife and kids were very sweet. We enjoyed working with him. We had him employed with us while he was in school finishing up his master's degree. Once he got his master's degree, he cut us loose, and off he went into the grander business world, and he's doing very well for himself. But the problem is, he handled all PR for the company, so he talked to all the game developers, talked to all the brand deal people. He did do some job training for me when he was leaving, but I'm not him. So when I talk to game developers, I can't change me. I don't have a warm persona. When I talk to people, I expect results. I tell them, hey, this is what the deal is. This is what we can do for you. What can you do for us? Most times I hang up on the phone because I don't know how to wheel and deal people. I just know how to keep it very, like, I guess you would say brass tacks. I'm not a warm, cuddly person. I had a representative who was the face of the company for speaking with developers, And when I meet people in real life, and I go to conventions, then I have, of course, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm very firm with people. You know, good hearty handshake, meet people in person, eye contact, that kind of stuff. Very cordial, polite, whatever. But I'm not like this, you know, very carefree. Most PR companies, they have people that are very chill. Or not chill. What's the word I'm looking for? They're very approachable, I think is the correct term. They're very approachable. I don't know how to set up a GoFundMe. A friend of mine has, like, thought about it, but we need... There is a slim possibility that we could be paid the 30th, but here's the thing. The network would need to get a hold of people and put that in writing that they're going to pay people, and the... Let me see. I don't believe they still have responded. I've only heard from the network owner, and I've only heard from YouTube's legal department and the operations manager at YouTube. I've not heard from... Yeah, no. They still haven't emailed us. So the... Yeah. Like, also, I got blocked from the Nagato company. I gave them a pretty, you could say it was kind of like a pretty firm email, making demands of them and stuff like that. They blocked me, so they are in their offices. But besides myself, there are a couple other YouTubers that are speaking with them and just telling you, you know, offline. Most of these YouTubers are communicating with me, and they also have not heard back from the company. So you have about at least 25 YouTubers between 100,000 to a million or more subscribers reaching out to these people to get paid, and there's no communication. Now, because this incident happened in 2014 and I was out 50 grand and someone lost $1 million, you know, we never got that money back because nobody started doing things until a month and a half after the incident. So what we have a record of, what I have a record of, is that it is shown that these people, according to Google Images and other things, that they showed up for work at their office. I have evidence of that. No one has seen them, according to people that I've spoken to in Sweden. No one has seen the individuals in question since the 15th of June. Nowhere else in the town that they live in, no one has seen them. Okay? So either they're dead in the offices, and both YouTube and the network owner have not sent the police to even rap on the door of the office to check to see if people are in there, or two, they already fled the country with millions of dollars. I'm going with option 2, which is why I'm going to the police. I'm not waiting again because, again, this situation is very similar to what happened in 2014, except instead of it being a span of months without with nobody doing anything, and YouTube telling people don't do anything, I'm doing something after it's been literally 8 days. So I'm already in full-blown action mode. I'm already taking action. Going to the police tomorrow. They're going to get in touch with Interpol, and then Interpol probably will get in touch with me, even though I'm a civilian, but I have the most details on the case. I have the most information on the case than anybody else on YouTube right now. That's because investigation is my hobby. Because I've been tracking people who tried to kill me. Which you could argue is vigilantism, but good luck with that. It won't hold up in court. So that's the situation. So it's not that I'm complaining that I'm not being paid. I've already formulated a plan. I'm not just going to roll over and be like, oh no, I'm out this money. I'm finding ways to make money elsewhere. And I'm, trying to help as many content creators as I can. Because last time someone died. There was a YouTuber who ended it because they lost everything. He was a small channel, but he was still a YouTuber. He had I think he had like less than like 10,000 subscribers, something like that. He was a nice kid. But his channel was doing really well with like some weird like newsground art or something like that. He was an artist. Artist animator. He was trying to pay for bills for his mom had cancer at the time. She was the only relative he had, and he was taking care of her. And so he counted on the payments from his YouTube channel. The network stole all that money over 3 months, and they kept promising the kid that he'd get paid. Well, unfortunately, it was too late. Nobody knew what happened to the kid, and then I found out a couple years ago that he killed himself. So, you know, there's a real danger involved with this that people don't know. It is very sad. Yeah, the mom died too because he was paying for her cancer treatment. It's very sad. So 2 lives were lost because people wanted to get rich. So yeah, I take this deadly serious because I don't know the other people in the network. What I did differently this time around with this group is I didn't get to know any of the content creators. I know some of the content creators by their reputation that are in Nagato, but I don't know them personally. I haven't made any personal attachments the past 5-6 years because if I had to drop the network, I was just going to drop the network. I wasn't going to make any attachments. I've made no friends. It's just, I get paid by them, that's it. I've never spoken to their PR company. I've never asked them for anything other than pay me my money. That's it. Because I don't trust people. So I keep it, it's been strictly business for 5 years. But a similar situation is happening now, which is why I've gone into full-blown, like, DEFCON, I don't know, 4. Formulating plans, taking care of things behind the scenes, speaking to the press, speaking to YouTubers, trying to get on podcasts, taking screenshots of emails from YouTube operations, YouTube's legal department, communication with the network owner, all emails and every information I have. I'm keeping the YouTubers out of it that I'm speaking to. But tomorrow's video, you'll see images of conversations with YouTube's operations manager, which I'm going to, you know, not show their name, obviously. Talking to YouTube's legal department, what they say about YouTubers not being able to be paid because it's through a network. So I have that in writing. I'm going to show that. I'm going to show my conversations with the network manager, which is getting really suspicious. So you're going to see all that. I'm the only one doing anything. What about my main channel? Main channel is tied up there too. Every YouTube channel that we own is with Nagato. But the O1 channel doesn't make any money anyway. O1 channel hasn't made money in like a long time. It pays for groceries. The Patreon right now makes more than the O1 channel has in 3 years. The podcasts aren't happening. They dropped me. The podcasts are talking about, let's see, I was dropped in favor of VTuber drama and Fantastic Four stuff. Actually, what did they talk about on their podcast today that they kicked me off of? Let me see. I was kicked off for one podcast in favor of... Ah, that's why. I was kicked off because of a Mr. Beast story. So, I was kicked off because of a Mr. Beast thing and woke stuff. Something about putting gay elements in a game. So I got kicked off the podcast about actually being able to help the 300 people that are in trouble. And people are going to lose their jobs and their livelihood. And it was all because they wanted to talk about Mr. Beast. They had Yellow Flash on. And they were talking about, you know, woke versus anti-woke. That's why I got kicked off. That's the reason. Yeah, there's some big Mr. Beast drama. You have to remember that, I'll teach you something. YouTube outlets, YouTube podcasts, all these people, if you are not big enough on the food chain, they don't care about you. I don't make anywhere near the money that I used to in 2014, 2018, anything like that. My channel doesn't even make 1 million views a month anymore. I am small potatoes. So the fact that they didn't tell me what their podcast was going to be about, is because they were going after a bigger content creator. So Mr. Beast is one of the biggest people in the world. A lot of people don't like him right now. So it's easy money for them to get, like, a lot of people giving them questions with donations. That podcast probably made, like, several $1,000s today. Like, just from donations and people asking questions, people getting riled up. That's how these podcasts make money. Is, like, people, they only accept questions through super chats. Which is how YouTube actually used to work. So they probably made a lot of money off this whole Mr. Beast situation. Plus, that really controversial gay thing in gaming or whatever. So, they made bank. And the other podcast was probably something similar. But that's what it's always about. I've told you this before. Real YouTubers don't care about anybody. What they care about is how you can benefit their business. If your story can somehow, like, they were planning on using me as a SOP story. They were planning on, like, hey, if you want to help out this person, here's their Patreon, and, or, remember, you could always try to get them a part of, like, our Plus service, or, they were going to do whatever. My job was just to go there and tell people, this is what's going on. YouTube is trying to sweep this under the rug. We need to take action. YouTube's not going to take action. The network owner of the MCN is not going to take action. So it's up to us. That's all it was going to be. It was going to be a call to action. Because I'm shadow banned on this channel. I can't do anything. I'm not even releasing the video on this channel. There would be no reason. It would get like 100 views. I'm releasing it on my Batman channel because, it's an investigative, like, journalist piece, basically. So I'm still doing the journalism thing, but I'm doing an investigation on YouTube and not, like, video games or the film industry or anything like that. Because I was a very good reporter. Not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good. I was in the business a long time. And I wish I could get a job in the industry, but as I told you guys before, they're still weeding people out that are bad eggs from the game journalists. There's a lot of compromised people in the game industry in, like, places like IGN and different, like, game jobs. So there's a potential for me getting back into game journalism and actually helping game journalism again, but that's not for a while. Like, not even in the next 6 months. Like, there might be a position opening for me in a year, is what I was told by one publication, because they're still dealing with stuff. This whole DEI thing really messed up the internal of a lot of companies. It's going to take a while to fix it. As well, they still haven't fired everybody yet. Usually what happens is how they're firing a lot of these, like, fake journalists and stuff is they're not making ends meet anymore. So the company is able to use a, you're not pulling your own weight type thing, and your stories aren't pulling in people, so we're going to let you go. Like, they have to find, like, really intricate things to fire a lot of these, like, woke freaks. Because, like, they know the human resources better than the people that have worked there for 20 years. And as I said yesterday, a lot of these people, the good journalists, are keeping their heads down because they have a wife and kids. They have kids who are in college that they're paying tuition. They can't speak out. So it's a very slow process. Think of it like a turtle in motion. So it's going to take a while. You've seen elements of the game industry healing in terms of the developer side, but I'm telling you, personally, that behind the scenes, a lot of game publications, like writers and stuff like that, it's still not even a 50-50 split. They don't have full control. And some of these people that have been working for some of these monsters, like, they're just regular journalists. They've never got promoted. They're not editors. They're not associate editors. They're not even really, they are full-time, but what I'm saying is they don't have a lot of power, or they're not in a very good position. And the people that we're trying to get rid of in the industry, they're in positions of power. Like, it took a lot to get rid of that Kotaku lady. Like, that Kotaku lady was a thorn in everybody's side, and she was an editor at Kotaku. She was a very nut person. Alyssa Mercantes, I believe was her name. She was a bad egg. It took a lot of stuff to get rid of her. And there are still bad people at Kotaku, but there's some good people at Kotaku, too. They're just keeping their heads down. You know? They're constantly under mortar fire, and they're just trying to keep their job every day. And, you know, basically let people do whatever they can, and they're getting rid of people little by little. But they can't do, like, a mass firing. What would happen is a lot of people would talk about what's happening. So they're doing it very, like, co-op. And I'm confident that, yeah, in a couple years, I'll probably be done with YouTube, and I'll be back to doing game journalism again, and I'll enjoy my job again. But for the time being, I'm going to be stuck on YouTube for a while, or maybe I'll stay part-time on YouTube, and I'll do the writing on the side. You know? I don't know. I'm going to have to get a second job, though, because I can't be in this position again where, even though my channels were not the same and they're all earning different income, lo and behold, I find out they're all receiving income from the same source, so I'm screwed. Right now. But yeah, I promise you, there are people behind the scenes that are trying to do stuff in the game industry, but it's not going to be a fast process. It's going to take time. Think about it this way. If you have a wife and kids, and you got kids in college, one journalist has a kid who has, like, cancer. I'm not going to say who it is. But he is, you know, he needs his job in order to pay for his child's, like, care in the hospital at St. Jude. So, are these people really going to stick their neck out, you know, and be anti-woke crusaders and try to, you know, weed these bad people out? No, of course not. Their priorities is their family. It's not some, like, you know, banner online to stand behind and, you know, align with YouTubers and other people. That's why I've always told people there's good and bad people in the game industry in both the journalist side and the game developer side. But the good people aren't saying anything because they're waiting for their time to strike. And some of them have striked already. 23 game developers have been shut down. A lot of really bad eggs. Over 4,000 people have lost their job. Out of those 4,000 people, at least 3,000 were compromised. Compromised individuals. There were some good people that lost their job because, you know, they were connected to the company and whatever. You know, that's unfortunate. But for the most part, it's been a very successful removal of the tumor. For the most part, but probably won't be till 2027 where things, if you even remember what game journalism was like in 2014 or 2016, you'll see some semblance of that. But basically right now they're holding people back to the merit system. So if you work for a publication and you're not pulling your own weight and, like, your articles aren't hitting, then what happens is they give you a trial period of a couple months or maybe 6 months, I don't know. And if you don't pick up your readership or whatever, then they have no choice but to tell the CEO on you. Talk to the CEO, and the CEO is going to look at and evaluate your stuff, and you're fired. Again, it's a slow process, but that's what's been happening. It's the only way they can do it. But, you know, I would be in the same position, too. If I was a journalist and I wanted to keep my job, the thing is, I couldn't handle the stress. The reason why I quit being a game journalist in 2014 is I couldn't handle the stress. It was too much. That's when the whole Gamergate thing started. And the, what do you call it? The press side changed first. The press side changed way before the game developers. It was a domino effect. The game journalists became compromised, then the game studios, then the game studios told people what to do, and then the game developers became corrupt themselves. So it was like, it was basically like a bacteria infection. It just kept spreading until, like, there wasn't really anything anybody could do anymore. It was too late. It's like they had the ability to stop it cold in its tracks, but they didn't. Which is a mistake that they won't make again. But they did, and it cost them billions. And the only reason I'm telling you this stuff now is I'm not afraid of these people anymore. You know? They're losing power all over the place. They're stuck in echo chambers. Echo chambers that, thanks to Twitter, they can't really do any damage anymore. And, you know, so many people realize they're out of work and they don't know why. That's the reason why. Is because good people got tired of bad people. It's that simple. You can't work with bad people because they're not willing to compromise. They're not willing to work with you. If you don't align with their politics, if you don't align with their personal beliefs, they're going to try to fire you. Whereas a normal person that you're working with, they don't really care. They don't care what you believe. They don't care who you sleep with. All they care about is if you're going to do the job and if you can work with other people. That's what normal people are. Woke people are the problem. They complain to human resources all the time. They look at people's Facebook to see if they're an Islamophobe or if they're a Nazi or whatever, or what they deem all those things. And then they get you fired. And then they follow you. This is the crazy thing. They will follow you to your next place of business and make sure that you don't get hired from the next company over. These are sick people. These are the people that were in charge of the game journalism side. And these are people who had a stranglehold on the game industry. They were thugs, pretty much. Corporate thugs. You know? So that's why I don't like those people. Because I don't think they're good people. I judge people based on the way that their character is. If they have a terrible character, terrible personality, and they're terrible people, they suck. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter who they bed. If they're a jerk, they're a jerk. That's how I gauge people. I have two gauges. Non-jerk and jerk. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's how I live my life. If you have a good character, you got good work ethic, you and me are square. If you're a jerk and your personality sucks, I don't like you. Doesn't matter if you're black, Asian, doesn't matter. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. And I don't have to like you. So, I don't give people a pass with that. There's two options in life. Jerk, not jerk. Why doesn't O1 make money? Because the Batman channel died. And also, it's possible that some of the subscribers over there are part of the woke brigade that have been, like, DDoSing my streams for 5 years. So whenever I release a video over on the O1 channel, over on this channel gets DDoSed for like 6 hours. There's a correlation when I release a video on my channel, on the O1 channel, that the Let's Play channel suffers hours of cyber attacks. Every single time. So that means someone over on my channel is compromised. One of my fans over there is a mole. And since it's really hard to get people's information through YouTube, there's a way to do it, but it's very difficult. I don't like making videos over there because this channel becomes a target. And this channel is our livelihood. So the O1 channel I just kind of let fall into disarray. I'm sorry about that, but I can't... I couldn't impact my business. If there is a pattern of continued, like, attacks that happen whenever I upload on that channel, over here, I mean, you can't call that a coincidence. I told you, I wanted to be a detective as a kid. I'm a lot smarter than people give me credit for. I know the law. I know cyber crimes. I know a ton of stuff that a civilian should know. I'm too smart for my own good. Which means I'm stressed all the time. I don't have an aura around me. I have a stress field. Like, I can feel like this energy coming off me all the time, and it's stress. It's what it feels like. That's my life every single day. It's not pleasant. I'm amazed I haven't had a heart attack. I've been close. I carry Bearer with me everywhere I go. Well, that was easy. In the end, Kwing will win. Well, of course, because criminals are cowardly and criminals, like, are very arrogant, and they think that they're going to get away with stuff, but, you know, what people don't understand is, like, police don't stop searching for people, even after the statute of limitations. They don't like to close cases and have them go cold. Sometimes there's even rookie police officers that will open up a closed case file because they think there's a possibility by putting fresh eyes on it that they can catch the culprit. And most of the time when a rookie comes in and takes over a case that's been over for, like, I don't know, 20 years or 10 years or whatever, that's when the person gets apprehended. You know? Sometimes it takes a while to catch people. It's just how it is. So because a lot of these people who swatted me and things like that and do cyber attacks on my channel, because they think they haven't got caught yet, that means they'll never get caught. That's not true. Because while they may stop and, you know, go about their ways and continue to do stuff, I'm still hunting them. The police are still hunting them. I haven't called anything off. I haven't gone... The police file is still open. I'm still in communication with the detective on the case. I haven't stopped anything. It might... Even if it takes 20 years and these people grow up to be normal people, I'm still going after them. And they'll never grow up to be normal people. Right now, they're busy with protests for whatever they're doing. Whatever the protest of the month is, they're busy doing that in California. Most of these people are in California, Washington, Las Vegas, and I don't think any in Florida. But it's mostly the West Coast is where 150 of these suspected people are. And they all, the scary thing is they all share the same ideals. They all share the same ideology. They all share the same opinion about me, so they're all dangerous. And they're probably aligned with the people that actually pulled the trigger, so to speak. So they're all guilty. It's just finding the actual culprit and then knocking down their house of cards. That's how it goes. People misunderstand. I'm not just going after one person. I'm going after hundreds. And I have been for years. I haven't called anything off. There's no truce. There's no forgiveness. If they came to my front door and they pleaded for mercy, I would have them arrested on the spot. There is no mercy. There is no forgiveness. Only justice. Payback. Retribution. They can forgive me in prison. Or whatever. I'll accept their forgiveness when they're behind bars. How's that? But yeah, that's just how it is. No, there's no update with the hackers. No, this is... it just somehow... it all bleeds into other things because, like, my stress comes from the cyber attacks. So now I have, like, new stress with the people who stole money. So it's like, I'm just a giant ball of stress. I'm not even flesh and bone anymore. I'm just, like, flesh pit. Like, stress pit. Uh-oh. Oh, crap. I gotta go. I can't lose my weapons. How in the world do I go into Death Mountain so that I can find the fire lizard so I can make the armor? I need that armor. But I don't even have enough money to do the armor. The question is, how do I make money? That's the thing. I need to make a lot of money in this game in order to even go to Death Mountain. I think there's a reason why I don't do Death Mountain very much is because I turn into a walking candlestick. I guess we can try to go sell some stuff. That's why I try to tell people, you don't want to cross me. And they're like, ooh, it's just the internet. It's like, no, I will literally hunt you down. I don't screw around. It's like, you make a threat on my life, that is, you're giving me permission to ruin your life. And I will. And I have. I've already arrested several haters over the years. When they had snot coming out of their nose and they were begging for mercy from the police over the phone, they were like, is this the guy? I said, yep, I pressed charges. That was it. Bye-bye. I take it very seriously. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your gender is. You commit a crime against me, see ya. There was one case, I think it was like 10 years ago, this person said they were going to vulgarly do things to Amber, like, without her consent, and then slit her throat. I found the guy. I contacted the police. He was begging on the phone that it was just jokes. He was sobbing. I could tell that the snot was coming out of his nose. And the local police were like, what do you want to do? I said, book him. That was it. It was like, it was just the internet. It was just the internet. It was just the internet. It was like, see ya. You made those comments. I took that threat very seriously. Bye-bye. That's it. Exactly. So if I catch you, there is no mercy. Period. You make that threat, either you back it up, or you accept the consequences for what you did. The cyber attackers, same thing. And when I catch them, that's the same amount of mercy you'll get, which is none. I would say that the case against the hackers is at federal level, yes. I haven't spoken to the FBI. I don't know what the detective on duty is doing. I don't think I want to bother the same detective with this theft thing, though, so I'm going to go to a different precinct and open up a new case about what's going on with Nagato, because I don't want to bother the guy who's been working on, you know, that one thing. That precinct has enough to do with. I don't want to dump more things, because it's going to look weird, you know, this guy on the internet has another problem that, you know, this one is now like an international crime. Like, yeah, no, I don't want to go to that same place. I'm going to go to another police department. Because even I would think either the guy's crazy or he's like a spy or something. Because, like, this is not the kind of stuff that a local police department in Pennsylvania would be dealing with. Maybe New York City would have some of this stuff, you know, but, like, small town Pennsylvania, nah. I would be suspicious. Basement? Good boy. Link is such a good boy. I don't know if the hackers are from Canada. We've traced some people to the West Coast. And they could be using dummies, like, to hide their real location. I don't know. I don't have that information. I never have. They're not going to tell me that until they make an arrest. Once discovery happens. Nope. Every time they hack me, I submit a report to the police. Like, I update the detective. I give him my, my firewall information, all that stuff. And then the hunt, you know, the hunt continues. It's like Monster Hunter, except you're tracking hackers. But they're not my priority right now. You know, I have other things that are top priority. This whole network theft thing is the top priority for me. I don't really care about them right now. I haven't forgiven them and I'm not stopping, but they're not my priority at the moment. Priority is something else. Where in the world is that store? You know, isn't there a store here I can sell things? Yeah, they will. Eventually, Uncle Howdy. Every criminal is caught. Eventually. Might be 10 years, might be 15, could be 30 years, but people tend to get caught. I found out from my former YouTube friend, he's still investigating the 2014 incident. He hasn't given up. He lost his job with YouTube because of that 2014 incident, and he was innocent, but YouTube had to fire somebody, so they fired him. Does that sound fair to you? I don't think so. He was a good man. He's a good friend of mine, too. Very good friend of mine. He didn't deserve to be treated like that by YouTube. YouTube threw him under the bus. They had to blame somebody. They blamed that poor individual. He didn't do anything wrong. I promise you he did nothing wrong. But they had to fire somebody. That's how these corporations work. But all these years later, that guy told me on the phone today that he's still trying to follow through with his investigation. He's never stopped. He wants justice. I would too. No, I thought I could sell items to you. No, I don't want to sleep. I'm trying to sell items. Yeah, Mr. Hero's here. He wants to sell things. Thank you. Yeah, every criminal makes mistakes because they get arrogant and all kinds of stuff. I know. I'm aware. Why do you think I've never given up? And people like to celebrate and say stuff online like Kwings crazy and he's hunting like people that aren't happening. Or, you know, they're just small cyber crimes. Like, this is a waste of resources and things like that. But people think you actually pay for police services. You do not. Your taxes pay for police officers. Any civilian can go and make a police report. You don't get charged. This isn't like some foreign country where police services will charge you for working with them. This is America. So the police and fire department, they're supposed to help you. Now, the ambulance, you have to pay for. If you pop in an ambulance, you could be facing a $2,000 fee for just being in the ambulance for even 10 minutes. It's because of all the equipment that's inside of the ambulance. But if you go to a police officer for help and you, like, you know, report a crime or something, there's no cost to you. So all my haters online over the years saying Kwing put himself into debt because of all the police reports he made didn't cost me a cent. Even if I get called into court to testify against somebody, I don't have to pay for anything. I just show up and, you know, swear on the Bible and do my thing. There's no cost. The only cost you would need is if you want to sue somebody. I don't want to sue anybody. I'm not going to get my money back anyway. With the cost of a lawyer and all this other stuff. No. I want you in jail. That's how you pay back what you stole from me. That's how you pay back, like, all the crimes you committed against me. You serve time. That's what makes me different than other YouTubers. Other YouTubers have things done to them, and they're like, oh, you know, I'm just going to sue them. It's like, based on all the costs of things that's going to happen, you should just press charges and get them arrested. It's much easier. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't. They think that, you know, you have to actually, if you're reporting a crime or something happens to you and you reach out to the police, you think you're going to get a bill. Not in America. Other countries maybe, but this is America, home of the free, home of the brave. You know? So I've done a lot of stuff over the years with police, like behind the scenes with my YouTube channel and with my safety. Never had to pay anything. Boston, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Nope. And I'm deadly serious about stuff. Like, I don't believe in suing people because there's no point in it. I threaten legal action sometimes to scare people into making a mistake or doing a threat, and then when they threaten me, I take that screenshot, and then you figure out what happens next. So I bait people with lawsuits. And then when they threaten to kill me, guess what happens to those people? I've done that over the years. It's to set a trap. And it works most of the time. I'm more cunning than my adversaries, basically. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Today was a crazy day. Arkham is next. And I don't know what I'm doing for the late night stream. Yep. But keep praying for us. Amber's most likely starting a hospital job soon, which will help. And this channel should start earning an income again. I don't know, sometime in late July, I hope. Yep. Well, I'll see you guys on Batman.